Hi everyone. I know it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video, so here we are. So recently I just moved. I moved back to LA. I've been in the desert for a bit, getting work done, getting things done, and I've been grateful being here because it's allowed me to thrive. But being back in LA and getting there, it's been a little transitionary, and I think people don't realize. Practitioner of mine, he said like people don't realize how much moving brings up stuff or how like it brings up a lot of things. And we think it's like, oh yeah, we'll just move or we'll just move, but it actually can be very unsettling, because we need our grounded space. So for me, it's a big transition, but it's like brought up a lot of stuff and patterns that I'm working on breaking, because we think like, oh, it's just automatic, but we ingrain ourselves in things and we end up being this way for a long time or in this pattern or whatever. So at first it brought up, a lot of anxiety and things like, oh, is this apartment going to make me worse? Am I like not comfortable here because I didn't sleep well the first night? And mind you, I'm still settling in. I haven't even gotten my bed stuff yet or my beds or whatever. But for me, it's comfort's been a big thing and just trying to like make the right answer, make the right decisions. And then after a few days, I took a deep breath and I was like, okay, I do like this place and it takes a minute to settle. And I am gonna find the answers. And the reality is everything is working out for me. And it's easy for me to get spun out, especially with everything, that's gone on. And people, I think we spin out about things to some degree here and there, but you really have to try to regulate yourself. I've got to try to regulate myself and be like, okay, here's my plan, here's my answers. I'm a Capricorn. I like knowing. So, and that's what I did. So, and it made me think about a lot of things in general, just like being back in LA again and everything and stuff. So it's obviously going to bring up a lot of emotion. But it was interesting because, in one hand, I was, freaking out and a lot of stuff coming up, and in another hand, I felt like the energy moving forward. And on top of it, people, I think sometimes like I'm alone in this or, I'm just, on this journey, but people are actually there and they like really are there for me and reached out to me. And I even think about this bigger picture, the spiritual journey and the spiritual path of like why we do what we do or life or in general. And these bigger things that are meant to happen or that I'm meant to do or, just me doing YouTube videos. I mean, I think ultimately, even though I have all my projects of real estate and film and Enosis and things that I really like, my goal is to plan on doing, but really my journey and everything I've gone through is this. I mean, look at David Asprey, look at anybody. I mean, even Hermosi, all these guys talk about that. So it's like now I've reached the next step in that, and it's like, I just got to keep following the path. But sometimes it's hard because you're almost, I feel sometimes blind to it. So, so my advice at the end of the day is take a step back, breathe, and the answers will come. And there's always an answer, instead of making a rash decision, really plan it out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.